The new Gumball series is dropping on July 28th, and the trailer shows that his new adventures are going to be just as wild as the ones from the original show. But did you catch all the amazing things hidden in that trailer?
I like it.
Right off the bat, we're hit with something super bizarre. A creepy creature is crawling out of the floors and walls of Elmore Junior High like it's breaking into reality itself. You can't see this and not immediately think of the Void, that dimension where all the forgotten things in the Gumball universe go. Especially because the original series literally ended with a portal to the Void opening inside the school. Could this scene be a direct continuation of the show's final episode? Well, maybe, but there's also a chance this is something else invading the city, since the portals in this scene don't have the usual static effects that the Void's known for. So what if the portal to the Void actually made reality unstable enough for villains from other dimensions to break into Elmore? If that's the case, Gumball and Darwin are in for a whole lot of trouble. And believe it or not, this is just the first of the 22 hidden secrets you missed in the new teaser for the amazing world of Gumball the Movie. So jump on board, it's time for another Cinewave. Remember the very first teaser for the new series where Gumball and Darwin wake up from a 7-year-long nap? That was a clever nod to how the franchise had been on pause for several years. That same idea shows up again in the trailer when the brothers show up at school wearing weird clothes and sporting giant beards. Like they've just come back from an intense years-long adventure in another dimension, which might very well be the Void. Then they reveal they've been gone for 7 years. And since they didn't shower that whole time, their classmates are completely grossed out. It's a funny scene, but also kinda weird. There's no way they were asleep for 7 years and traveling through another dimension for 7 years. So maybe that teaser scene was just a goofy non-canon joke. Either way, it's pretty likely they really were stuck in the Void all this time. If you look closely, you'll see that Gumball and Darwin are joined by Molly, a side character who once got trapped in the Void in the original series. She was never one of the main characters, so it's strange to see her suddenly showing up here with the boys. That not only supports the theory that they were stuck in the Void, but also hints that her time there may actually give her a bigger role in the new season. If there's one word that sums up this trailer, it's chaos, and that really hits home when we see Donut Cop in a totally black and white setting, like he's in an old-timey movie. From the very first second, this whole new show already feels bizarre, but this moment takes it to a whole new level. It's kind of impossible to make sense of a random Gumball scene at face value, just because the show constantly breaks logic. But this does feel like one of those scenes that's supposed to represent a flashback to the distant past. We all know the past wasn't literally in black and white like old films, but Gumball knows it's just a show. So it actually makes perfect sense that in their universe, the 1950s did look like an old movie. The real question is, how did Donut Cop end up in that time period? Well, one of the episodes might just involve time travel. Speaking of chaos, the new opening sequence, which was already released, also shows up in the trailer. And we have to talk about the weird glitches happening during those moments, with the screen full of TV static and distortion. It's clearly designed to remind us of the Void and give off that creepy, uneasy vibe, basically letting us know something's wrong with Gumball's return. So it's not that far-fetched to think that maybe all of Elmore is still trapped inside the Void, or something like that. One thing we can be sure of, we're about to see all kinds of threats in the new batch of episodes. For example, there's a talking spellbook that pops up in the trailer, and it looks old, massive, magical, and super evil. It's probably some kind of cursed object that'll cause major trouble for the Wattersons. Some fans already theorize that the monster from another dimension invading Elmore is from the same episode as this book. The creature does seem more magical than something from the Void, so it totally tracks that the invasion might have been caused by a spell gone wrong. But believe it or not, that's just one of the problems the Wattersons will face, and that becomes crystal clear when the trailer shows the entire Watterson family being chased by the police. And we're not just talking about the main crew, even Richard and Nicole's parents show up, and they're in serious trouble too. Either they're going to commit a major crime, or they'll be wrongly accused of doing it. Or maybe the government just finally realized that the Wattersons are seriously dangerous. Let's be real, they're always in the middle of some chaotic adventure that ends up putting the entire universe at risk. Oh, and one hilarious little detail, Nicole's mom is seen snuggled up with a super young, ripped guy, instead of her actual husband. That kind of makes it look like they got divorced, and now she's dating a younger guy. Yikes, what a situation! So, are you hyped for the next chapter of Gumball's story? If so, drop a comment with #Nicole to show some love for his awesome mom. Another really interesting scene shows Richard having a full-on epiphany and suddenly absorbing a massive amount of knowledge. At first glance, it's easy to imagine this being part of the same episode with the demonic book. Maybe he read the spellbook and gained forbidden knowledge. However, a bunch of images of him with Nicole also flash by in the middle of all that, making it seem like Richard might actually be remembering the love he feels for his wife. Could this be part of a separate episode focusing on their relationship and backstory? Speaking of Gumball's mom, she's seen inside a virtual world, like she's in a video game. And not just any game, it seriously looks like a social VR platform, something like VR Chat. One of the few episodes that already had its synopsis revealed is actually about an artificial intelligence that falls in love with Nicole. So maybe that means the AI is going to try to trap her inside the game. And here's a fun detail: the avatar Nicole uses in the game looks exactly like the anime-style version of her that appears in the original episode The Fury. It's such a great reference, especially since those kinds of games are full of players who create avatars that look like anime characters. That same AI ends up getting super obsessed with Nicole, to the point of wanting to destroy her family out of pure jealousy. Or at least that's what it looks like based on the scene where the rest of the Wattersons are trapped inside a high-tech car that's driving itself straight toward a lake. Notice how every family member is there, except Nicole. And there's a really great joke in this scene. The car keeps saying creepy stuff, until it randomly announces that the weather is warm and sunny. Gumball's like, well, that's not so bad, but Darwin reminds him it's winter. And then Anais concludes it's all because of global warming. Classic Gumball-style dark humor. There's also a moment where Nicole is riding a totally out-of-control electric bike, which probably ties into the same episode, since it looks like the AI is powerful enough to hack into different technologies and take over. What if she rejected him, and now the AI's completely lost it and is trying to make her crash? Now here's one of the wildest moments from any of the teaser scenes that seems tied to already revealed episode plots. Miss Simeon is seen beating up, with the maximum level of violence allowed in a kid's cartoon, a guy in a heart costume. All just to teach the students what happens to your heart when you eat junk food. That moment totally lines up with the first episode of the new season, The Burger, which is about Gumball and Darwin deciding to eat only healthy food. Now it makes sense. They were probably traumatized by Miss Simeon's extreme methods. A scene that 100% belongs to that same episode shows a freaky photorealistic talking burger. From what we know about this storyline, the challenge for the brothers is that a single businessman owns all the food in town, and none of it is healthy. We're guessing this creepy evil businessman is the talking burger himself. Only in Gumball, right? And you'll only find daily awesome videos about your favorite cartoons right here on this channel. That is, if you smash that subscribe button. In the scene where the burger shows up, Gumball and Darwin are insanely skinny, which totally fits with the storyline. They probably ended up like that after failing to find any healthy food to eat. Gumball and Darwin have always been super close, but in one episode, they take it to a whole new level and become obsessed with each other. You can see this when Gumball's talking to Darwin on the phone and totally flips out, apparently because he got interrupted. In another scene, the two of them are sitting way too close while playing video games, practically fused together. You can definitely tell these scenes are from the same episode. But what in the world happens to make them act so weirdly obsessed? If you thought Gumball, Darwin, and Nicole were the only Wattersons getting the spotlight, you were way off. The trailer clearly hints that at least one full episode will be all about Richard. He shows up in a full cheerleader outfit, practicing routines. Looks like this dad's about to hype up some big sporting event. Maybe even stepping in to replace a cheerleader who got injured in an accident caused by Gumball. Richard also shows up looking totally jacked in one part of the trailer, just like he occasionally did in the original series. It's easy to imagine that happening in the cheerleader episode, where he bulks up from the training to take over the role. And if you think about it, that would mean all the cheerleaders are ripped too. Gumball's relationship with Penny really grew over the course of the original series, and it looks like their romance will continue to be explored. Especially since, in the trailer, he shows up wearing a tuxedo and holding both a bouquet and a heart-shaped box, probably full of chocolates. Is he heading out on a date with his sweetheart? Let's keep the fun going, shall we? Just click on one of the two videos we left on your screen. Thanks for watching, and see you next time!